This month, you may have noticed people wearing green ribbons. Beyond St. Patrick's Day, the color is used to spread the word that March is National Kidney Disease Awareness Month. And Valencia Clay knows what that is like to receive that diagnosis. And she's here today to share her story and her mission to uplift others who find themselves facing that same fight. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So glad to have you here.
Yes, exciting.
Okay, so let's get to know you a little bit. What started as shoulder pain turned into a life-changing diagnosis. What do you remember most about that moment?
I just remember being scared, not knowing what was taking place, not knowing that it was getting ready to change my life for the next 20 years, and it was very frightening.
My gosh, and the diagnosis was end-stage renal disease, and you were 28 at the time.
Yes, I was actually 27,
Wow.
28 I went on dialysis, yes.
Wow, I mean, were you thinking like, how did I get here? Am I even old enough to be having this conversation? So then you spent 10 years on dialysis, 3 days a week. How do you go about balancing all of that, because you were still working full time?
Yes. I was still working full time. It was a lot. It was a lot to take in, a lot to process. So trying to balance life, being a full-time employee, also going to treatment and having a social life at the age of 28. You know, so it kind of changed. Everything changed, because at 28 you think you're unstoppable.
Yeah.
You're unstoppable, but God had a different plan for me and a purpose that I didn't know.
But you know what? It sounds like it's turned into a testimony today, which we're going to get to here.
Yes.
And you build connections even with other patients going through those similar struggles that you were going through. I'm assuming maybe you were talking to them while you were on dialysis 3 days a week. And so how did those relationships shape your perspective on kidney disease?
Well, that's funny you say that, because I've met a lot of great friends, because we become family.
Yeah.
We're there 3 days a week, sometimes from 4 hours to 3 hours less. You know, time changes. So you become family, and it just helps build a relationship with each other, because if anybody can tell our story, we can tell it better than anyone, because we're living it 3 days a week.
Yes,
We're going through it, the struggle, the mental health of it.
Oh, my goodness. Can I ask you, because you were able to communicate with them and you have gone through it yourself, what are the needs in that community right now?
Right now, a lot of people that don't know it's Kidney Awareness Month. March is Kidney Awareness Month. It's not talked about. The needs are putting it out there, spreading awareness. Kidney disease is important, and it affects so many Americans.
Yes.
And we need to share that story. We need to know, hey, there's resources out there for families that deal with kidney disease.
Especially because the symptoms are so small. I mean, shoulder pain, my goodness,
Right.
and then it progresses to something that you never even thought you'd be having a conversation about. Why do you think it's so important to talk about the challenges instead of just talking about the diagnosis, but the things that come after the diagnosis?
Wow. It's very important, because no one talks about it.
Yeah.
No one is talking about it, and it's also a silent killer. A lot of people don't know because you don't have the symptoms, the signs. And so I was one of those who didn't have any symptoms. You know, from the shoulder pain led me to finding out that it was more.
Right.
So it's just important to spread the awareness and bring it out, so people, the community, can talk about, well, you know, this is what we're going through.
Absolutely. Plus, I mean, I can't imagine after you receive the diagnosis, just the financial toll it takes to drive back and forth 3 days a week, to take time off of work, to take time away from your family. You know, it's a lot, and you're going through it by yourself. I'm sure it can feel almost isolating in a sense.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Okay,
Very.
so what was it like getting the call that a kidney was available? Because you do have one now. So tell me what that process was like.
That was the exciting news. That was the best news of my life. So I remember getting a call, and I started screaming, no, this is not true. This is not true. I remember the guy saying, Valencia, we have a kidney for you. And I was like, no. It was like at 6 in the morning. And when I remember calling my mother, and she came and picked me up when we got to the hospital. It was unbelievable. It was like a Grey's Anatomy moment.
Oh, I love that.
We walked in, and everyone was screaming, shouting, oh my goodness, we've been waiting on you. Your name's been on our board all night. So it was just very overwhelming, very loved.
Yes.
I'm so grateful.
A moment you'll never forget.
Never.
Can I ask you, though, because, I mean, 10 years on dialysis, did you ever lose hope?
Yes, hope, mental, everything. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot to come in living that life.
Yeah, I can imagine. But like I said, you've turned this into your testimony. She now has the Diva Clay Foundation. So tell me, what's your mission, and what do you hope to plan to do for others who are going through the same thing you went through?
Yes, Diva Clay Foundation is dear to my heart. It's to bring awareness to local families, kidney disease, to bring awareness to the community and just support local families who's going through the same thing, whether it's mental health, whether it's financial, whatever we can do to bring back education. You know, it's just so important because there are so many things that people don't talk about.
Exactly.
And that's what is important.
So good. Tell us where we can find you and all of the information.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Diva Clay Foundation. You can also find me on Facebook at Valencia Clay.
Very good. Well, thank you
Yes.
so much for coming on here this morning and not only sharing your story, but being vulnerable and making sure that other people know how to tackle this disease. We
Yes.
appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much.